If you look around our universe, you can see that it is permeated with a multitude, shining galactic threads and walls. Between them lie vast areas of deep water, voids hundreds of millions of light years in diameter called voids. These enormous cosmic failures reach such incredible sizes that the largest galaxies look like grains of sand against their background. And some stars burn to ashes faster than a photon, flies a path from one edge of the cosmic abyss to the second. Even the omnipresent echo of the Big Bang fades away in their vastness, depths that hold many secrets and mysteries. So it's time to go to the very heart of the great cosmic emptiness. In terms of the scale of space, our planet is just a rocky fragment flying at great speed through the vast void. Over the course of billions, for years it has been circling in its orbit, maintaining a distance of about 150 million kilometers from the Sun. However, the true size of our system is much larger. According to modern concepts, its outer boundary, which is considered to be the far edge of the hypothetical Oort cloud, lies at a distance of about 100,000 astronomical units. Beyond this boundary begins the endless abyss of interstellar vacuum, a space so rarefied that 1 cubic centimeter of it, there is on average only one single hydrogen atom. The distance between the nearest stars in our region of the galaxy is of the order of several light years in the photon that left. The Sun is capable of reaching Proxima Centauri never, without colliding with a particle of matter. This vast emptiness is all-pervading and an integral part of the deep structure of space. It permeates the entire Milky Way, an insurmountable abyss, separating stars and planets, black holes and white dwarfs, superdense pulsars and diffuse nebulae. If we move beyond the galaxy, then you can see that it is surrounded by an even deeper vacuum. For example, between us and the galaxy, Andromeda lies 2.5 million light-years away in ultra-rarefied space. This is the distance, so huge that it could accommodate 25 galaxies similar to ours. However, it is filled. Only the deepest cosmic vacuum, and this is only a small part of the great cosmic abyss. All penetrating invisible threads of gravity connect the Milky Way, the Andromeda Nebula, and the Triangulum Galaxy, as well as about 100 of their satellites. This structure is called a local group and represents a large accumulation of cosmic matter with a diameter of about 10 million light-years. In turn, the local group is part of an even larger entity, relatively small by standards, universe of a galactic filament called a local sheet. This flattened structure, consisting of several hundred galaxies, has a diameter of about 46 million light-years and thickness of about 5 million light-years. The sheet is part of an even larger association called the Virgo supercluster. However, very close to the local leaf is outer space, suddenly changes its appearance. Here, the usual diversity of colors of the universe is disrupted by a black hole known as the local void or local void. In fact, the local sheet is one of its walls. Other conventional boundaries are the Perseus-Pisces supercluster and the supercluster Peacock-Indian. At the same time, void is divided into conditional parts by several sparse galactic threads and wide passages connected into a single network with the nearby voids. The Sculptor and Hercules. Due to the cosmological expansion of the universe and the gravitational influence surrounding matter, the volume of the local void slowly increases. Its diameter is about 150 million light-years, and the distance to the center is not less than 70 million light-years. Meanwhile, the nearest edge of this cosmic void is located very close to the Earth at a distance, about 3.2 million light-years. Due to this proximity, the local void occupies a significant part of the night sky of our planet, about 40. The main plane of the Milky Way, containing many bright stars and large nebulae, obscures the central part of this area, but its edges remain accessible for observation. In 1854, a little to the north of the constellation Hercules, a dwarf spiral galaxy has been discovered that has received named NGC 6503. Later, with the development of observation technology, it became known that it is located in the middle of the local void, and its distinctive feature is incredible variety of colors and appearance. The galaxy's spiral arms are streaked with bright red, Clots of heated hydrogen and glowing blue nebulae are the birthplaces of stars. The center is darkened by clouds of cool gas and dust, having a noble brown color. NGC 6503 is about 30,000 light-years in diameter, and the distance from Earth reaches 17 million light-years. Thanks to the gravitational pull of the Virgo supercluster, this galaxy is approaching us at a speed of about 43 kilometers per second. Counts that gradual convergence with the local leaf will eventually saturate its space. Interstellar hydrogen, which will trigger an increase in star formation. According to calculations, in a few billion years, the number of young stars could double from the current level. Quantities in the small galaxy will shine with renewed vigor. The motion of NGC 6503 is a clear demonstration of how the voids most likely formed. It is believed that the basics, the large-scale structure of the universe, were laid down, even in the first minutes of its existence, in times of chaotic mixing of matter and energy. Cosmic cataclysms of incredible power shook the young universe, forming local compaction and voids, subsequently clots. Matter became proto-galactic clouds in space. Low-density voids. Over time, the all-pervasive influence of gravity has increased. This contrast by pulling stars and cosmic gas into a relatively dense clusters that made the space voids even more sparse. Observations show that the vast majority galaxies formed between 10 and 13 billion years ago. In addition, there were no significant differences between age, galaxies located in voids, and those that form global threads not noticed. This fact also confirms modern theory of large-scale structure formation, universe. Meanwhile, knowing about the cosmological expansion of space, we can assume that, what about time? The local void will become larger and more sparse, and the Virgo supercluster will gradually disintegrate into several independent groups. At present, it is an association of approximately 30,000 galaxies, concentrated in a region of space with a diameter of about 200 millions of light-years. The total mass of the cluster is about 1.5 quadrillion. Solar, which is equivalent to about 1,000 galaxies like the Milky Way. The Virgo supercluster is partially touching with two other galactic superclusters, Centaur and Peacock Indian. At the same time, another side of it borders on a vast area, practically devoid of matter. It is called the Void of Taurus and is one of the largest known cosmic voids. Exploration of this area of space is facing great difficulties. The whole point is that most of the void lies in such a, called the avoidance region, a sector close to us, plane of the Milky Way. The bright stars of our galaxy outshine fainter, more distant sources. And interstellar. The substance absorbs and scatters their light. However, thanks to infrared research, in this range we still have some idea of the structure of this void. The diameter of this vast void is about 200 million light-years, and the distance to the center is approximately 150 million light-years. When observing the entrance into the eyes, a surprisingly clear boundary immediately becomes apparent. Between relatively empty space and bright, a cluster of galaxies located much further away. It is called the Perseus-Pisces supercluster and is one of the largest in this part of the universe. Such a sharp transition is typical for dust clouds, however. Infrared studies do not confirm their presence. In all likelihood, there is a clear boundary between the void and the supercluster is caused by gravitational factors, but the exact mechanism of their action is yet to be discovered. Find out. Meanwhile, it is assumed that the entry of Taurus, like most other cosmic voids, not as empty as one might imagine. Distortions of light passing through it allow us to assume that this area may hide gigantic depths in its depths. Gas and dust clouds are the cradles of future galaxies. According to other hypotheses, inside the void, there may be huge masses of dark matter, the most mysterious substances in the universe, the properties of which are still not fully understood. The most daring ideas place clots of antimatter or matter in the centers of cosmic voids, even more exotic matter possessing negative mass. Nevertheless, despite the courage, these hypotheses are already beyond the generally accepted scientific concepts, which makes it quite difficult to test them experimentally. At present, only 2 separate galaxies lost in the space of a giant void. One of them, UGC 2627, has a spiral structure and is similar to the Milky Way. The second one is known as UGC 2629 and belongs to the elliptical dwarf galaxies. Both objects are located almost in the heart of the void, about 80 million light-years away. The distance between them is not large and lies within a few 100,000 light-years, perhaps in empty space. There are other isolated galaxies hiding, but the disk of the Milky Way does not allow us to see them. Meanwhile, the Virgo supercluster, along with 4 other superclusters, forms a galactic filament called Laniakea. It contains more than 100,000 galaxies and stretches in outer space by more than 5 million light-years. Its gravitational center is the Great Attractor, a mysterious supercluster of galaxies located 250 million light-years from Earth. In turn, Laniakea is part of a vast galactic flow and moving away even further. You can see that most of it is surrounded by black, an abyss of unprecedented proportions. In its emptiness, the light of distant galaxies is drowned, and even mysterious and elusive neutrinos require billions years to cross this cosmic chasm. And it is hard to believe that despite all the development of observation technology, such a gigantic void was noticed only 10 years ago. 2013 year, University of Wisconsin-Madison. A team of astronomers led by Professor Amy Berger is engaged in determining the distance of galaxies. During the research process, an unexpected discovery is made, and a stunning fact. It turned out that Laniakea, as well as most of the adjacent superclusters, surrounded by a cosmic void of unprecedented proportions. After conducting calculations, scientists discovered that its diameter exceeds the size of any previously known void. The extent of the void discovered turned out to be so huge, which called into question several fundamental cosmological. Apparently, the universe turned out to be much more complex than we imagined. Research by Amy Berger, Ryan Keenan, and Lennox Cowie appears to have led to one of the greatest astronomical discoveries of recent years. Their work showed that our galaxy is together, with its surroundings is located in the middle of the largest supervoid known to science. He got it. The name KBC comes from the first letters of the names of the discoverers. Observations show that the giant void is close to spherical, and the diameter may exceed 2 billion light-years. According to calculations, the Milky Way is located several hundreds of millions of light-years from the conventional center. Great cosmic abyss, and at about the same distance from its edge. Discovery of a giant bubble of emptiness surrounding Laniakea made it possible to explain the paradox that had been haunting him. Scientists for many years. The fact is that all the galaxies in the universe are gradually fly apart due to cosmological expansion. Measuring the speed of this movement allows us to calculate the so-called Hubble constant, a physical constant that characterizes the rate of expansion of space. However, if we take the Hubble constants for calculation, the nearest galaxies to us, it turns out that the rest of the universe is expanding too slow. And vice versa, if we take distant objects as a basis, then the Milky Way's surroundings are moving faster than they should. The discovery of the void put everything into place. The thing is that the galaxies inside it, including the Milky Way, the path and its neighbors, are constantly experiencing additional gravitational influence from objects behind, outside the void. It also creates additional force, which gradually stretches our cluster in different directions. What's also surprising is that the KBC void is so huge, which includes not only a supercluster of galaxies, but also other voids. For example, the local void, like the Taurus void, are an integral part of its structure. It turns out that compared to other voids, KBC looks, although large, it is not so empty. However, compared to the observable part of the universe, the diameter, which according to calculations reaches 92 billion light-years away, even the UN is just a barely visible dark specks. If we look at the global map of the universe, we will see there are many dark spots on it in terms of their scale, close to the KBC entrance. Most of them fit easily into the framework of modern physical theories, while others show surprising and strange properties that are difficult to explain from the point of view of science. And one of the most remarkable of these cosmic mysteries is the supervoid of Ryden, also known as the relic cold spot. According to calculations, its diameter ranges from 500 million to 1 billion light-years, and the distance from the Milky Way lies within the range of 6 to 10 billion light-years. This means that this education is one of the most extensive elements of the large-scale structure, universe. The void is located in the southern hemisphere of the Earth's sky and occupies an impressive area of it, several times larger than the full moon. However, it is impossible to see it with the naked eye. Relict. The spot is visible only with the help of special telescopes, studying space in microwave spectrum. Thanks to them, astronomers discovered that within the spot there is relic radiation. The universe is approximately 70 microkelvins colder than the average for the metagalaxy. This is a deviation, almost 4 times higher than the strongest anomaly recorded previously, and gigantic dimensions make it a truly mysterious object that requires comprehensive study. It is currently believed that the cosmic microwave background radiation passing through hundreds of millions of light-years of deep vacuum is subject to gravitational influence from distant galactics, superclusters. This causes all the penetrating echoes of the Big Bang to lose energy. This is why the relic spot appears colder in photographs than its surroundings. However, this effect cannot fully explain the excessive cooling. Relic radiation. According to calculations, the attraction of external galaxies can only explain a quarter of the observed deviation. It is suggested that the remaining 75% of the effect may be due to the effects of hypothetical dark matter or dark energy, concentrated in the depths. However, to truly reveal, we will not be able to solve this cosmic mystery for a very long time. When we look out into space, we see hundreds of millions of galaxies scattered in space, each of which includes billions of all kinds of luminaries, trillions of planets, and countless other celestial bodies. This endless diversity creates gigantic cosmic structures covering the space with a shining network. But all this is just glittering dust against the backdrop of the great emptiness filling the universe. This emptiness is the true space, mysterious and dangerous. Perhaps in its depths are hidden the answers to the key mysteries of the universe. Or maybe there is nothing there but endless darkness, with difficulty comprehended by the mind. Only time will tell whether we will ever learn its secrets.